Now, this may be odd to say, like, why do I need to understand about column setup? Well, column setup is going to be important in Wireshark because it's going to essentially help you organize Wireshark. So let's talk about, first of all, what do we see in the columns? I kind of alluded to this in the last session, but let's talk about it in a little more detail. The first number is the frame number, beginning of the PCAP. This is the first time we see the frame. The first frame we always see is 1. Seconds, remember we had this like weird seconds thing? Well, the first frame is always set in as 0 point all zeros, and then every frame after that is nanoseconds after that first frame. So how many nanoseconds after the first frame did we see that? So when you see 384, that was 384 nanoseconds after the first frame. Source address, we saw that. I told you my source address, that was at 172.16 address. It can be IP version 4, IP version 6. Wireshark can also do non-IP protocols. You can have IPX in there. You can have Ethernet addresses in there, MAC addresses, anything of that nature. It understands a lot of different protocols. So you can also look at the destination. Where is the communication going to? Normally you'll have two-way communication, so you'll see source to destination, and then when you look down further, when the packet is communicating, you'll see that destination as a source and your source as the destination, because it'll show you the exact, exact flow of the traffic. The protocols being used, we saw HTTP, but it can be DNS, ARP, TCP, whatever the protocol that's being used, and then the lengths and frames. So a lot of things by default on the default columns. So these are the things that I think you need to see, is you need to see date and time in UTC. So I don't want to just see date and time. I want to see date and time, not by nanoseconds. I actually want to see it in UTC. You may want to change your time zone, but I think UTC works good for me. And the reason I do UTC is because, I never know, like I could be connecting to something in a very different time zone that I don't want to do conversions. The Wireshark will do the conversions for you, but at the same time, to me, it's just easier to keep in UTC because I may be comparing it with other logs. I may be comparing it with third-party systems. So I want to see that. Of course, source IP and source port is very important to me, as long as destination port and destination IP. I want to see if it's a HTTP host or HTTPS server. So I want to see actually the protocol being there, and I want to see things in the info field as well. Now, this may all sound trivial, but it's actually more definitely an art and a science. In fact, there's a lot of I want to actually bring up this great blog by Brad Duncan, who actually wrote this great blog on how to customize Wireshark columns. And really, he talks about kind of the columns that he uses for his research. This is actually a great article. It's he goes through and he recommends, what he uses. I definitely highly recommending his blog as a template on setting up your Wireshark. Set it up one time. I think once you set it up one time, you'll be really happy with it, especially when you start using it, and it'll probably become your default template. So let's talk about just some little things you can do. First of all, if you can right click on any column and you can hide the column, you can add things to the column, you can, add different, you can check and uncheck things, what you would expect. But some people have gone all through Wireshark and never right clicked on a column. So make sure you see the options that are available. Now you can add different columns. To add different columns, when you right click on the column, you can go to column preferences, and once you click on column preferences, you'll be going into a different menu where you can add different columns. So in column preferences, there's a whole bunch of drop down hidden commands, views that you can see. You'll see a lot of different columns you can add. You can add new columns. You can take away columns. It works like any other interface. And here's an example. All these screenshots are just examples from my own PC, from the version that I'm using. Your version actually may be a little different as Wireshark makes updates, but for the most part, it stays the same. But like I said, you can add new columns, you can rename columns, you can kind of look at the information you want in the columns. So there's a lot of different information that's out there. Once you select the column, you can see you can say what type of column you want. You can give it any title you want. You can customize the title and see what kind of data you want in the columns. And then once again, you can remove columns, or you can change what the existing columns do as well. Alright, so as I said, there's a lot of different customization you can do. I know this seems very trivial. You're like, you're just talking about columns. Believe me, this is a lifesaver. I want you to actually start experimenting with Wireshark, open it up, understand what it does, look at it. From a systems exam point of view, you just really need to know very, very basics of Wireshark. You just need to understand that it is a packet analyzer, protocol analyzer, packet capture. You need to understand that it can only analyze the traffic you can see. So if you're on a switch port, you're not going to be able to see traffic on the entire switch port unless you're on a monitoring switch port, or if that switch port is spanning traffic. You need to actually configure that switch so you can see all the traffic. Otherwise, you'll only see local traffic. That's okay too. Maybe you just need to see local traffic from your PC. So there's other places you can see, but you have to essentially be able to view the traffic. You will be able to see encrypted data if there's encrypted data, but you just won't be able to make any sense of it. It'll just be all ciphertext. You can see other information. You can see voice over IP traffic. You can see IPX traffic. It does multi-protocol, not just IP. All right, that's simple enough. I would say open up Wireshark, look at a couple of PCAP examples, a lot of examples you can just Google and find online, and just understand a little bit of the basics, or just capture your own traffic. Open a Wireshark, capture your own traffic, go to a couple of websites. Actually, try to go to some unencrypted websites like FTP servers, put in your username and password. You'll see that actually comes across really nicely on Wireshark. And then look at HTTPS traffic, put in usernames and passwords. You'll see nothing really comes across there. So you'll see the difference out there. So hope that makes sense. Hope you open up Wireshark, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you.